Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Burns, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly online event where we cover anything that may be of interest to librarians across the state. We do these sessions live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, and they are recorded. So if you are unable to attend any of our sessions in person, that's not a problem. You can watch the recordings that we have archived on our website. As I said, we cover all sorts of different activities and things for librarians, and we have commission staff that do presentations, and we have guest speakers, as we have today. This morning, as you can see from the starting slide, we have Robin Clark and Jessica Chamberlain with us, who are going to talk about our Nebraska Snapshot Day, which is actually next week. Is coming up, and so give us a little intro to that and what's it all about and what you can do to participate with it. So with that, I will hand over to either Jessica or Robin, whichever one of you goes first.
Okay, well, thank you for listening, everybody, today. We're glad to be here to talk about Nebraska Snapshot Day. I'm Jessica Chamberlain, the director of the Northeast Library System. And Robin, you want to introduce yourself?
And I'm Robin Clark. I'm the chair of the Advocacy Committee, or the Legislative Committee, which is soon to be Advocacy Committee of the Nebraska Library Association, and director of Sump Memorial Library in Papillion.
And just in a nutshell, I want to tell you that Snapshot Day is an advocacy event. It's an invitation to take a slice of life of all the wonderful things that happen in your library in one day. So we're asking you to collect statistics, stories, and photos, to take that snapshot of your library and then share them out with the stakeholders in your community. So to get more in detail on what all that involves and how you can participate, here we go. All the information that you need to know is on our website at snapshotnebraska.wordpress.com, and that's where you can find the details of how to participate, and also our toolkit, which has lots of resources for you, including a press release, tools to collect your statistics, and then information on where to report out your information that you've collected when you're done. It also has a little "What is Snapshot Day" blurb that if you want to share with your board, if they ask why you're participating, or if you want to share that out with your librarians to give them just a brief summary of what Snapshot Day is, you can find that there as well. And to participate, if you click on that "How to Participate" on the website, this is what you'll see, and it's really easy. Basically, we want you to let us know that you're going to participate by leaving a comment on the website, and we've gotten 4 or 5 comments on there of people that are planning on doing it. And this is really to help us on our side because we want to encourage libraries to participate. And if you let us know you already plan on doing it, then we won't be calling you and bugging you to participate. It's not mandatory, though. If you don't leave a comment and you end up participating, please don't feel that you're not allowed to participate if you didn't let us know beforehand. Please go ahead and participate anyway. Then really the next steps are to plan. Decide what day you're going to do it and plan, and Robin's going to talk a little bit more about that, and then participate on your chosen day, and then report. So in a nutshell, those are really the 4 basic steps in participating on Snapshot Day.
The first thing you need to do is decide which day you'll have Snapshot Day. Now we have a whole week set aside, and we did that on purpose. We didn't set one day for the whole state. Maybe at some point we'll get there, but this way, giving you a whole week gives you an opportunity to pick the day that will work best for your staff and work best for your patrons. So think with your library staff about how you're going to get your patrons involved in Snapshot Day. You can do some interactive photos, you can do some interactive programs, you can make Snapshot Day a real advocacy day in your library, in your community. You could have cookies and coffee, and you can advertise your Snapshot Day ahead of time so that you could get a group of people to come in, maybe your friends of the library or something like that, and have a special event at your library. there's a customizable press release that's on the Toolkit website, and you can go in there and cut and copy that. Again, get this out to your papers. If you're going to do it next week, I would do it this week as soon as possible. And it's pretty self-explanatory, but do some planning. Do think about what you could do to really showcase your library services, your connection to the community. Jessica?
All right. Some ideas that we had for those interactive photos. You could, and this is just to try to get you brainstorming, get you thinking about what it is you could do to have unique ideas at your library. You could print off a bunch of signs that says, "This is my favorite book," and put your library's name down at the bottom and hand them out to people as they come in. With the prevalence of cell phone cameras, most people, a lot of your patrons, especially your younger ones, are going to have a camera on there that they could just, invite them to go out into the library, find their favorite book, click a photo of it, and upload it to your library's Facebook page or to email it to you. They could even email it directly to, we have a Flickr group set up for the Snapshot Day, which we'll talk about later. But you could also do it with their librarian. Especially young adult librarians and children's librarians, I think, get really involved with some of the kids and families that come into the library. And they could, hold the sign up next to their, children's librarian or their favorite librarian and say, "This librarian rocks," or however it is that you want to say it. This is, my Nancy Pearl action figure, but because I was trying to do this in my office. But, you could do this, think of lots of different ways you could do that. You also could do something similar to the Geek the Library campaign, where people are invited to share what they're passionate about and how that relates to the library. So, yes, this cutie pie is my son, and he's learning to read, and he loves the library. So, but you could have people do, I'm a mom and I love the library. I'm a movie fanatic. I'm an aspiring artist. Whatever it is that moves them, invite them to connect what they're passionate about with what the library does and provides for them in the community. So, just some ideas. Does this spark any ideas for anyone else out there that you want to throw, into the conversation right now?
Hey, if you do have any ideas, go ahead and type them into the questions section of your interface, or just say, I want to be unmuted, and I can unmute you, and you can use your microphone. Get fancy.
Well, and I just want to say that the whole idea behind doing this connection with your patrons is to start telling those stories about how people, we know they may love the library, but what does that love do for their life? How is that person being changed through your library services or through interactions with your teen library, or what is the story that's coming out of this big smile on this guy? It's like he's really excited that he's learning to read, and he's learning to read better than he would have if he hadn't come into the library. Those are the kind of stories that advocacy, you need to develop those so that you can be able to go out into your community and tie that love, which is the big heart, back to something concrete that you can tell people about. That it's, yeah, we really love the library, but what is it concretely that's being done in your community that the library is facilitating?
Yeah, and I was going to say that made me think that the ideas, these stories that you collect, you can then take these stories that when you're out talking to people who might give you funding or support the library in those kind of ways, you can actually have real stories from the real people, and you can say, this kid came into my library and he was so thrilled to learn to read, and you can actually have his story in something real, not just something vague that you may have just come up with that they like to read.
Right, right.
Yep.
Well, if there aren't any ideas right now, we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
So after you've planned and decided on your day and what you're going to do, then it's time to participate. And this is what the toolkit part of the website looks like. And you can see first there's that customizable press release. And after that, here's the 3 things that we want you to collect on that day. We would like you to collect statistics, stories from your patrons, and then photos and or videos from your patrons or from the staff, however it is that you want to divide that up. So these is just a snapshot of what is on that toolkit page, and Robin is going to share more about the data collection and collecting stories from your patrons. So there's the data collection form.
Yeah, this is what the printable data collection form looks like. And basically what you'll do is you'll print this out, and your staff will do little hash marks, or you can fill this out. I mean, number of library visitors. If you have a door counter, you don't need to do the hash marks. But this gives you, an idea of the information that we are really wanting to collect during that day. So have your staff look through this form, be familiar with it, so that they'll be able to identify when somebody comes up and has a question that what hash mark that it, or what subject area it needs to go into. But this will enable us at the end of Snapshot Day to be able to have some statistics that we can come back and say, here's how many people came in and wanted to do the e-government thing, wanted to sign up for food stamps, or wanted to sign up for some type of government service that can only be signed up online now. And these are how many people we helped with those. So this just gives us as data collectors a form so that we could all be collecting the same information. And I think this number of library visitors is self-explanatory. Reference questions, we certainly know what those are. Job search or employment help questions. Number of homework help questions. This is, especially in the afternoons, we get some of these. Number of computer users, number of library programs that day, total library material circulation that day, e-government help questions, database questions, and attendance at library programs that day. So, like I said, this is just a snapshot. Just collect that data, and then we'll be showing you later how where that data can be uploaded. This is the patron comment card. This is what you use to collect the stories. And go ahead and print these up, have them available for your patrons. It's got your library on it, and then it just says, please tell us why you came to the library today. And you can check all that apply. I'm not going to read through them all, but the last one, other, make sure that if they're in there for some other purpose, because what I'm not seeing is just want to hang around after school because I don't want to go home yet. We probably service 20 to 25 kids that do that in the afternoon. So make sure that you get as many people to fill that out as possible, and take it up to them and saying, today's Snapshot Day 2012. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to collect stories so that we can go back to our funders and tell them how libraries are affecting lives in our community. And would you mind filling this out for us? And if they don't want to fill it out, you can say, well, would you tell me why you came to the library day? And you can check it off for them. And you can actually ask that question. They don't have to necessarily fill it out themselves. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation with your library patrons, I think that would be really helpful as well. And let them know that they can take those stories that they have back to your library funders. So again, this is a patron comment card, and we'll talk just a minute about how to upload that information.
I think that's a good point to make, Robin, that they don't have to fill this out themselves. This is designed for them to do that, but if they don't want to and instead they sit there and talk to you for 5 minutes about why they're there and what the library means to them, go ahead and write that interaction down. And this, at the bottom where it says, what does your library mean to you, this is where they have the chance to say, I was looking for a job, and by using the computers at the library, I was able to fill out a job application, and I'm employed now. That's the chance that, this is the spot for them to do that if they want to share that kind of story with us. And the other thing that we'd like you to collect, it is Snapshot Day, so we would like some snapshots and photos. You can upload videos if you like. And so on that website, on the Toolkit page, there is a photo consent form in English and in Spanish. So if you don't have a photo consent form that you already use at your library, you're welcome to use this one. This one does also mention NLA and gives NLA the photo release in case there was a wonderful photo that you uploaded that we wanted to use for promotional materials or something, especially when it comes to minors. It's especially important to have these photo releases. If your patrons are uncomfortable with the photo release or don't want to sign this, there still are ways that they can participate by filling out the patron comment card or by taking photos of them where they are not recognizable, such as this is my favorite book. I took that picture myself of just my hand holding my favorite book. So that you wouldn't need a photo release form for because that person is not identifiable. So if they don't want to do this, there's still ways that they can take photos and participate in the day without, taking a picture of their face. Okay, so after you've participated and you've collected your statistics, your stories, and your photos, then we would like you to report that information to us. We'd like you, there's a separate, and on that Toolkit page and also on the How to Participate page, there are links to online forms. And this is what they look like. There's two different forms, one for the data collection and one for the patron comments, just because we wanted to see what you reported versus what the patrons reported. And we are asking that you compile that you only fill out one of these forms, one data collection form for your library or your branch, and one patron comment card for your branch or your library. So if you have multiple service desks or you use multiple copies of that printable data collection form, we are asking whoever's reporting this information to compile that all into one form for us. But by doing that, you've already created a great advocacy piece for your library because you've already compiled then all of this community-specific information. And, to share that with your stakeholders, all you have to do is, make it look pretty and give it out to them. So, but our intention with this is that we will compile then all the reports that we get from everybody and make a statewide infographic on that and, statewide information for advocacy. To submit your photos and videos, we've created a Flickr group called Nebraska Snapshot Day 2012. If you or your library already uses Flickr, you just have to join this group, search for this group, and click on the Join button there, and then upload your photos to the group pool. If you're new to Flickr, you can go to the Flickr homepage, which you can see Home is underneath the Flickr logo up there in the top left-hand corner. Click on Create an Account and sign up for the accounts. There's a certain level of free use here, and so if you're just going to use it for Snapshot Day, you certainly don't need to pay anything for an account. A free account will work just fine. And then join the Nebraska Snapshot Day 2012 group and add your photos to the group pool. If you're unable to create a Flickr account for any reason, you can email or put them on a CD and mail them to me. This is time-consuming to upload photos sometimes, and I understand that. And I don't want anyone not to participate or to feel like they're unable to take advantage of this advocacy event because they aren't able to upload their photos to Flickr. So if there's some reason that you can't do that, get those photos to me and I will get them uploaded for you. My email is on there and on the last slide as well. So I don't want that to stop anyone from participating.
And the magic question, of course, is why are we doing Snapshot Day? And we're doing Snapshot Day to be able to create a tool to use on an annual basis. And our goal will be to take all these statistics and the pictures and make some type of infographic, is what Jessica called it, for statewide use. Our example that we have up here is one from the Nebraska Library Commission. They do an awesome job every year of producing a statistic from our public library statistical reports to use during Legislative Day or Advocacy Day when we go and talk with our senators. it's not just about that. It's about taking that information, though, so you can do an advertising piece just for your library as well. So we'll have something that will be a statewide infographic, but we'll also have something that you will have something that you can turn into your own individual library report as well. And I'm assuming, Jessica, that we would have a place that if cities wanted to, or libraries wanted to post their infographic, they could do that?
Oh, yeah, I think that would be wonderful. We can add a results page to our Snapshot Nebraska website, and people would be welcome to share things up there, or they can send them to me and I can post them up there.
I would really encourage everybody that's participating to do that, to post your results page, because number one, I think it's great for us to share and see what everybody else is doing, and number two, we are great sharers of information. We're also sharers of how something looks, and so a library that may not have the time to do something could maybe cut and copy somebody else's and stick their information in there, and it would make it a lot easier for some of the other libraries if maybe there was a template that you liked that you saw somebody else do. You could email that person and say, could you send me yours so I can stick my information in there, and the collaboration there would be very helpful. Again, the reason we're doing this is to have an advocacy tool, and it's a tool is only as good as you use it. So, Jessica, if you'll go to the next slide. This is these are ways to use the results, to use this information to advocate for your library. Of course, the easiest is to print a paper flyer with the information. You can use it as a handout at the circulation desk, or you can make a coloring page for the kids. A lot of the photo software will allow you to also make coloring books. You could put a series of photos that you've turned into outline drawings and make an advocacy coloring book for your kids to color in. You could do the pie chart and have the kids color the pie charts or whatever, but the main thing is to get it in as many people's hands as possible. Get it back to your patrons so that they know what's going on in their library. So when it does come time to vote, or it does come time to talk to their city council person or their mayor about the library, they have this information available. Post the information on your website. Take and put a portion of it on your Facebook page every day for a week. Just pull out maybe one data set or one story. And if you get enough stories, there's not any reason why you couldn't post a story a week to your Facebook page for as many weeks as you have. But get those stories out there so that people are reading them, so that people are knowing what's happening in your library. Set up a Flickr page for the photos, if you want to, for just your photos, and put the link on your website and your Facebook page. And then either send the link or give the link, either in print or the link, to your mayor, your city council members, and this is the paper flyer with all of the information on it, and to the city department heads as well. Sometimes in some of the cities, they may not exactly have been in your library a lot, so to get that information out to the department heads helps a lot. Send it to the police chief, send it to the fire chief. Let everybody get the information. And don't forget to send it to your Chamber of Commerce. Sometimes that relationship can really help, building that relationship between the library and the Chamber of Commerce really help with as far as donations to your library from local businesses for summer reading program, and then just developing that awareness in the community of having an active library. And use it as a handout at an outside organization, whether you belong to Lions or Rotary or Sertoma or Kiwanis. Take it to your outside organization and ask permission, and just use it as a handout at a meeting, so that again you're trying to get that information out into your community. Send it to your senator, and I think every library should send their snapshot results to their senator on an individual basis. I think it's nice to send it to them statewide as well as we do on Advocacy Day, but I don't think there's any reason at all why every, for instance, every library in Sarpy County shouldn't send their individual information to their senator. And then send it to your congressman. Think big. Our funding is at risk right now, and the less money we get, the less we can do. It doesn't work with doing more with less. So get that information to your senator and to your congressman about what is happening in their area, how you are affecting people in their area. And then send it to other stakeholders in your community. In my community, I would send it to the presidents of our banks that are in town, those type of people. Make sure that all your foundation members, if you have a library foundation, that they all receive that information, that your friends of the library receive that information. The main point about Snapshot Day is taking all of this information that you've gathered and showing everyone what your library does, and as many people as possible. Even sending it, if you have the email capability, sending it out to your school teachers in your community. But getting that information out and showing them what your library does and how it makes a difference in your community. The main thing is to get the word out that libraries change lives. That's our message. That's what's going to help us develop funding, is showing people that libraries change lives.
All right, any questions, anybody?
Sure. This is Krista again. If you have any questions, type them into the questions section of your interface. Or if you had, as we said before, any ideas for things that you could do at your library for Library Snapshot Day, or if there's things you already have planned and you want to share, I suppose that would be good too. Now, I did have a question that came up while I was listening. I believe there's been Nebraska Snapshot Days in the past. This is not the very first time we've attempted this?
That's correct.
Sorry, there was a Snapshot Day in 2010.
Okay.
And on the on Snapshot Nebraska website, you can, on the Toolkit page, it says need some inspiration, check out the photos from 2010. So there is a Flickr group of photos from 2010. There are no statistics or anything like that, which is something that we hope to do this year, is to make those actual reports for the group. So, but there are definitely photos, and it has been tried in 2010.
Right. Yeah, so if anybody did it back then, you could also share what you did or didn't do, or what you did, if it was a success or not.
Absolutely.
I guess I would have to say, if I know we're all really busy. I know we're all overworked. So get other people involved. Bring your friends group in and let them take the photos for the day, or bring a teen volunteer and let them be the photo champion of the day. And have somebody, or set a tripod up and have one of your staff members go over and push the button every 5 minutes or every 30 minutes or whatever. Just have it pointed out in your library. Just capture the differences of the day in your library. So there's a lot of ideas. You don't have to do this necessarily yourself. Get some people involved. If you can't do it this year, then start planning for next year, because we do want this to be an annual event. And Jessica and I have both talked about we'd like to have it during National Library Week next year.
Which is this week right now.
Which is this week right now.
Right.
But because of planning and other things, we just were not able to do that. We'd also like to hear from libraries if you think National Library Week is already too busy to do it during National Library Week. We know there's a lot of libraries that have functions that are built around National Library Week, so you already have a lot of people in your library, so it is kind of a good time to take pictures and count and everything like that. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking it can go both ways, where you're in conjunction with your National Library Week programming and celebrations, you also do something that's Nebraska specific, really Nebraska specific with this. But it could also go the other way in that this week is National Library Week, and then you can promote that don't forget to come back next week for our Snapshot Day festivities, events, whatever, so you could continue the interest in the library too. So you could really use it either way.
Great idea.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Oh, I was to say, something as far as setting up the camera, I know lots similar to what people do at weddings or sometimes just for their own parties, setting up a camera where people just go and take pictures of themselves. It's already set up. It's on a tripod, and they just hit the control, and there's some screen behind it or something, that kind of automated thing, and then you just look at it later and see what kind of pictures you've gotten, kind of more candid on-the-fly type things. Might be a good idea too.
Absolutely, Krista. And that was kind of my thought with people having their cell phone cameras, that they, so many people already have that technology in their pocket or in their purse.
True.
So, that you can invite them to do that, but you could also have, a camera or two sitting around on the counter. If you're concerned about the security of that, putting it on a tripod makes it, more noticeable if it were to move around.
Yeah, on the tripod, a photo booth, that's the word I was trying to think of, a photo booth set up where you've got it already up and everything. But also, since you're just talking about having cameras lying around, lots of people at weddings do, and I don't know if they still have the disposable cameras. They set up on leave them on each table for people just to take pictures, and they're cheap, and if they do disappear, it's not horrible. But the idea is take pictures of you at a wedding at your table, but here, just put them on tables throughout the library and say, take pictures of what you're doing, leave them here, we'll collect them at the end of the day and see what we got.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. You might get some weird photos, but you probably get some really good ones too. Yeah,
and then you get to weed them all out, which is good. We do have one question that came in. Someone wants to know, and she's from Douglas County, do you think this would work just as good for a jail library? So in one of the prison libraries.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, the only thing that I would not be an expert on would be the taking photos, the identifiable photos of the inmates, but you would certainly know what the legalities with that would be. But there's no reason you can't collect the statistics and the stories and, and other photos as well. So absolutely.
And I think that would be... Go ahead, Robin.
Go ahead. I don't think it's restricted to public libraries. I think this can be an academic library. I think it can be a school library. I think it can be any library that wants to participate. I don't think this is just public library flavor.
No, because libraries of all kinds are needing to advocate now, and school libraries are some, that are being cut more than any other. So this is absolutely an important advocacy tool for libraries of all kinds.
Yeah,
I kind of like if there's photos. I mean, I haven't been to a lot of prison libraries. I've been to one, but it would be nice, even if there weren't any people in it, to actually have a photo of your library, because not everybody may get to see your library, and that's part of what the sharing's about. Is not only advocating for your library and for libraries statewide, but it's also that information sharing that helps us grow into a stronger professional group of people, so we can say, wow, I saw that library, and did you, just so that we can build those relationships. Yeah, and it does say on the website that all Nebraska libraries are invited, public, school, academic, tribal, and special libraries. So if you're a library, do it. And I think, yeah, like you said, Robin, the prison or the jail libraries, I have no idea what it would be like in there, and I'd love to see it. I don't necessarily think I could visit one. I don't know if that would be allowed, but being able to get the pictures out and just showing here's a type of library that's out there that's providing services to a certain community, and here's what it looks like on a regular day in the jail library. So I would definitely say do it. Send it, see what kind of pictures you get. Like you said, figure out the legalities of taking the pictures of the inmates. And then go with it. Maybe you do something like what you said, Jessica, just show their hands on the computer or their hands on the book that they're using or something, if there are issues with that. We do have a comment from Laura Hess at our Stanton Public Library saying, sounds like a lot of fun and they would like to try doing this.
Great.
Good.
Great, Laura. Go to the website. Check it out. Any other comments, questions, suggestions, or ideas from the group? Yep, Laura says she'll do it. She's going to check it out. Great. When we do, just so you guys know, when we do post up the recording of the session, we will have the PowerPoint slides available. And I've already added the links to the Snapshot Day page itself and the Flickr group to the Commission's Delicious account. So you'll have direct links to those as well when we do get the recording up for you.
I just want to encourage people, if you have questions, to either call Jessica or myself. And if you have suggestions, we're also more than welcome to hear suggestions on how to make this more workable, better timing, anything like that, anything that you can do to help this advocacy event grow in the state. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So nobody has any ideas? Doesn't look like it from the group? They're all just raring to go? Or they're enjoying this break from their National Library Week activities?
My dream is to someday, and there's probably one out there already on YouTube or something, but I'd really like to see a stop-action video of a snapshot day where somebody does go and take the pictures every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes and then builds a video. I think that would be pretty cool, just to see the people coming and going and coming and going. So
yeah,
I don't have the technology skills to be able to do that myself, but that is kind of a fun thing that I think would really catch people's eyes, because I don't know that people in our community know how much we are used throughout the day.
It goes back and forth. People hear about the library is busier than ever. We can't keep up. We don't have enough for everybody, enough staff, enough time, enough hours, enough programs. And then at the same time you hear, we're just going to cut the funding for that library because it just doesn't need it. People aren't listening to each other, apparently, is what I think. And what's great about the Snapshot Day, what you're saying, Robin, about the video is it's not snapshot as in just take pictures. It's everything, like you were saying, collecting the stories. If you do a video or something, do that instead. Anything that just takes a snapshot of what's going on in whatever format you can get it.
Right.
So think creatively.
And if you can't take photos, do it anyway. If you don't even have a camera, do the statistics, do the stories.
Sure,
and if you can't do the stories, do the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So
you don't have to
do all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad that you said that, Robin, because that is definitely, we don't want someone not to participate because they feel like they can't do all three of those things. If you can do even one of those things, then you are still participating and you're still advocating and helping us tell the story in general. So please do participate even if you can't do all three of the pieces.
Mm-hmm. And the librarian from the Corrections Library says, this does sound really great, and I will try to see what I can do to get the Corrections Library out there. Thank you. Cool.
Good.
We'd love to see it, definitely.
And then I'd like to see you call all the other correction libraries and make it a competition, and see if we can get all of them.
Yeah, get everybody on board. Absolutely.
And please spread the word amongst, if you go to library meetings or whatever, talk about Snapshot Day. Talk about, we can talk about Snapshot Day, but it's really talking about advocacy. And we're really trying to stop flying under the radar, because we're not getting any funding for flying under the radar. So let's step up and talk about how we are changing the lives in our community, and that we need staff and we need funding for materials and for overhead to be able to continue changing lives in the community.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple of people out there in the library world commenting about how if I hear another person say, show or try and explain how libraries can do more with less, I'm just going to scream. Because no, we don't want to try to keep being, it's okay, we can do it anyway. You want to advocate and get the money and get the support. Don't try and do more than less. You need the support, money and community-wise, to keep things going.
Well, and it's you can't do more with less. I mean,
no, it's impossible.
It's just, and all you'll do is you'll burn yourself out, you burn your staff out, you burn your facility out. And I think we talk about that during strategic planning, where there are some things that if you're not receiving funding, have to go away. If you don't have the staff, they have to go away. So the whole you can do more with less is not true.
No, it's a big myth. It's a myth. Don't believe it.
And that's where advocacy comes in. That's where advocates come in. That's where they go, where your community members. Now you can go as well, but where your community members go to your funders and say, "Whoa, you know, the library is doing this, and why aren't you funding that?"
Mm-hmm.
That's really where the money is going to come from, is when you get your community members excited about library changing people's lives, and they get excited, and then they go to the funders and say, you know, probably need to have a little bit more money so that we can fix the steps of the library, or so we can put a roof on it, or keep the heating and air conditioning going, or have another staff member, or that type of thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it doesn't look like anybody has any comments. If you do have any comments, questions, ideas. Jim Boyer from UNO says, "Thanks, Robin and Jessica. I hope Snapshot Day 2012 was a great success."
Thank you.
So do we.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krista. Thank you, Jessica.
No problem. Does anybody have any questions at the moment for Jessica and Robin about what's going on next week? If you don't have any questions right now, that's fine. You've got their contact information there. Obviously, call them, email them with any questions you have, and check out the website too for all your ideas on how to participate and all the forms that they have wonderfully created for everyone. That's great that people don't have to create all this stuff themselves. Having all that toolkit there with all that everything that you can use, the press release and everything is awesome. So it's pretty much, you know, all the hard work has been done. All the prep hard work.
We know everybody is very busy and, you know, busy trying to do, quote, more with less. Mm-hmm. So we tried to make it as easy as we could.
Great.
And I am so not into recreating the wheel.
Yes, I am with you. Don't reinvent the wheel, yes.
Exactly. That's why we're librarians. We share. We share better than probably anybody else does. So if we can do things together, and that's why I think the templates are going to be really helpful.
Yeah, and I know there's been these kind of things in other states as well, so that might be also a place to go out and get some inspiration, is to just do some Google searches and see if there's been these kind of events elsewhere in the country and see what other places have done as well.
Yeah, Kansas has had an awesome one for several years. I mean, they have a ton of information out there. You can Google Kansas Snapshot Day, and they have been doing it for probably 5 years now, and it's a huge event in Kansas, and I want to say maybe Wisconsin was another one. Jessica, do you remember some of the other ones?
Yeah, Wisconsin did, because they said say cheese at your library.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. So, maybe we should say cornhead at our library.
ALA also has on their website links to, you know, Kansas. New Jersey is the state library that started this, so it started in New Jersey, and they've got all of their information. Wisconsin, and links to, I think, a few other states as well. So if you're looking for more inspiration or more ideas, you can search ALA as well.
Yes, I just found the website for that on the ALA website. I will, the page for that, I will add that to our links. So when people come to our recording, they'll have that page all from from ALA about it as well.
Good.
Well, it doesn't look like there's any major questions or comments come in right now, but if you, as we said, contact Jessica and Robin when you do have questions or anything you need to know. Anything that you guys want to say before we wrap up?
Just that we encourage everyone to participate as much as they can, and look for this to be an annual event. You know, we really do want to, we did it in 2010, we want to get it going again this year and really continue this on as an annual advocacy event in Nebraska. So.
Great. Okay, thank you very much, Jessica and Robin. That was very cool. I think I'll see about what the commission's going to be doing about this next week. I don't know. I may have just taken on something. I don't know. That's what happens. Okay, well, thank you guys. And thank you, everyone, for attending this morning. I hope it was helpful. as I said, I got some ideas from it and something to do now. That will wrap it up for today's NCompass Live, and I hope you'll join us next week when our topic is libraries on Facebook. If you pay attention to what we do here, we just announced it yesterday, just got it scheduled and figured out what we were doing yesterday afternoon, very late in the day, so there was an announcement that was just added to the schedule. Susan Franklin from Perkins Library at Hastings College will be talking about how they are using their Facebook page and what's going on with using that and how you can do it at your library. So we hope you will register and sign up and join us next week for Libraries on Facebook. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.